Hello, BookTube. It's another poetry read aloud day, and I decided where I've done enough read alouds of Banjo Patterson, as you could see behind me, and some you may have been thinking maybe we're moving on to Henry Lawson, but no, we're not, because I decided I'm gonna read more Frank the Poet to you from this anthology by Les Murray, Early Australian English Poets. And today, this is Frank's most ambitious poem. This is pretty much him doing Inferno, a convict. This is called A Convict's Tour to Hell, and it's very long. It's like 7 pages, and like wish me luck with this reading, but I'm gonna do my best. So, if I stop and start or stuff up some words throughout the way, you know, I don't know. Sorry, I guess. But anyway, this is A Convict's Tour of Hell, and it's amazing. So here it is. You prisoners of New South Wales, who frequent watch houses and jails, a story to tell you I will. 'Tis a convict's tour of hell, whose valour had for years been tried on the highway before he died. At length he fell to death a prey. To him it proved a happy day. Downwards he bent his course untold, like one destined for Satan's fold. And no refreshment would he take till he approached the Signon lake. A tent he began to fix, contagious to the river Styx. Thinking that no one could molest him, he leaped when Charlton thus addressed him. Stranger, I say, whence art thou? And thy own name, pray tell me now. Kind sir, I come from Sydney jail. My name I don't mean to conceal, and since you seem anxious to know it, on earth I was called Frank the Poet. Are ye that person? Charlton cried. I'll carry you to the other side. 5 or 6 pence I mostly charge for a passage in my barrage. So, stranger, do not troubled be, for you shall have a passage free. Frank, seeing no other secured near, with an invitation did comply, and having a fair wind and tide, they soon arrived on the other side, and leaving Charlton at the ferry, Frank went to haste to purgatory, and rapping loudly at the gate of limbo or middle state, Pope Pius VII stood appeared, with gown, beads, crucifix, and beard, and gazing at the poet, a while crossed him and the following style. Stranger, art thou a friend or foe? Your business here I fain would know, quoth the poet, for heaven I'm not fitted, and here I hope to be admitted. Plus rejoiced, vain are your hopes. This place was made for priests and popes. This a world of your invention, but friend, I've seen the least intention to admit such a foolish elf, who scarce knows how to bless himself. Quoth Frank, were mad or insane, when first you made this world a pain, for I can see you're naught but fire. Let's get to the next page. As a stare of which I can't desire, here I see weeping, wailing, gnashing, and torment of the newest fashion. Therefore I call you silly elf, who made a my screen's gonna go flat if I keep going. Who made the road to whip yourself, and you may, like the honest neighbours, enjoy the fruit of all your labours. Frank then bid the Pope farewell, and hurried down to the place called Hell, and having found the gloomy gate, Frank rapped aloud, with knowing his fate. He louder knocked and louder still, when the devil came. Pray, what's your will? Alas, cried the poet, I've come to dwell with you and share your fate in hell. Says Satan, that can't be, I'm sure, for I the dearest and hate the poor, and none shall in my kingdom stand, except the grandness of the land. But Frank, I know you're going to astray, for convicts never come this way, but soar to heaven in doves and legions. I had to see my screen was still working. Doves and legions, a place so called the upper regions. So Frank, I think with empty purse, you shall go further and fare worse. Well, cried the poet, sits to so, and one thing I like to know, as I'm present in no hurry. Have you here called Captain Murray? Yes, Murray is within this place. Would you, said Satan, see his face? May God forbid that I should view him, for aboard the Phoenix hulks I knew him. Who was this sir yonder blaze, Who on fire and brimstone seems to graze? 'Tis Captain Logan of Moreton Bay, and Williams who was killed the other day. He was an overseer of Gruce Farm, and done poor convicts no little harm. Cook who discovered New South Wales, and he that first invented jails, are both tired and fairly stake, which stands in yonder boiling lake. Hark, do you hear this dreadful yelling? It issues from Dr. Wallard's dwelling, and all this fiery seats and chairs are fitted up on the dukes of mayors and nobles of judicial orders, barristers, lawyers, and recorders. Here I behold legions of traders, hangmen, jailers, and fledge collectors, commanders, constables, and spies, informers and overseers likewise. In flames the brimstone they were tolling, and the lakes of sulphur around them boiling. Hell did not resound with their fierce yelling. Alas, how dismal they were dwelling. Then Major Morisset I expend, and Captain Clungley by his side. With a fiery belt they were lashed together, as tight as soles on the upper lever. Their situation was most horrid, for they were tyrants down in Norrid. Prostrate I behold a ped trader. It was Company's Commissioner Satan. Said, with my days are ended, for many years I have superintended the Anne Company's affairs, and I punctually paid all arrears. Sir, should ye doubt the hopening coronal, at Conningham you'll find my journal, liability penned in black and white, to prove my accounts were right. And since I've done for you on earth, I hope you'll put me in a berth. Next page. Then I said old Sergeant Flood, in vacuum's hottest forge he stood. He gazed at my eyes with ire, appeared like burning coals of fire. In fiery garments he arrayed, and looked like Albion horses he bewrayed. He on a bloody outlast leaned, on the lamppost was chained. He loudly called for assistance, or begged me to end his existence. Cheer up, I said. Don't be afraid. Remember number 3 Stockdike? In the course of time you may do well, if you behave yourself in hell. Your heart on earth was fraught with malice, which oft drove convicts to the gallows. But you'll now atone for all the blood of prisoners shed by Sergeant Flood. Then I beheld well-known trapman, the police runner called Izzy Chapman. Here he was standing on his head, in a river meltdown boiling lead. Alas, he cried, behold me, stranger, I've captured many, and behold a bushranger, and for the same I'm suffering here. But lo, yonder stake draw near. On turning around I saw slow worms, and snakes of various kinds, and forms all entering at his mouth and nose, to devour his ear trails, I suppose. Then, turning round to go away, bold Lucifer bade me to stay, saying, Frank, by no means go man, till you see your old friend Dr. Bowman. Yonder he tumbles and groans smashes, have ye gave you many thousand lashes, and for the same he will well for Oscar with an iron flail, flashes him well you may deepened, and will till the world comes to an end. Just as I spoke, the coach and 4 came in full post-haste to the door, and about 6 feet of mortal sin, without leave or license jugged in. At his arrival 3 cheers were given, which rent, I'm sure, the highest heaven, and inhabitants of hell, with the most constant rang and great bell, which never was heard to the sound or ring, since Judas told our heavenly King. Drums were beaten, flags were hoisting, there were never before was such rejoicing, dancing, singing, joy or mirth, in heaven above or earth. Straightway to Lucifer I went, to know the rejoicings meant. I've sent to cry Lucifer, I'm deprived, since Governor Darling has arrived. With the fire brimstone I'm ordained him, and Valican has already chained him, and I'm going to fix an abode for Captain Rosie his on the road. Frank, don't go till you've seen the novice, the magistrate from the police office. Oh, said the poet, I'm satisfied. to hear that he is too tired and burns in this world of fire. I think this high time to retire. And having travelled many days over fiery hills and boiling seas, at length I found the happy place where all the woes and mortals cease. And rapping loudly at the wickets, cried Peter, "Where's your certificate? Or if you have one to show, pray who in heaven do you know?" "Well, I know brave Donahue." Good name difference, but nearly there. "Young Tony and Jenkins too, and many other floggers mangled, and lastly there were Jack Clench, strangled." Peter says, "Jesus, let Frank in, for he is thoroughly purged from sin, and although in the convict's habits dressed, here he shall be a welcome guest. Isaiah, go with him to Job, and put him in a scarlet robe. Saint Paul, go to the flock straight away, and kill the fatted calf today. And go tell Abraham and Abel, in haste go to prepare the table. For now we shall grant a repast, since Frank the poet has come at last." Then came Moses, Elias, John the Baptist, and Matthias, with many saints from foreign lands. And with the poets they all join hands. Throughout heaven's concave their rejoicings rang, and hymns of praise to God they sang. And as they praised his glorious name, I woke up and found 'twas but a dream. Oh, that was a lot. And that's so amazing. And I just want people, for context, all those people mentioned in that poem. Again, I'm not sure how to pronounce their names exactly, but they're all real. And all the mentions about the floggings and the locations are all real. And yeah, it's it's a lot. It's truly, I think, his most epic work in that sense of Frank the Poet. But yeah, I'm so glad I got to read you this poem. Again, I've done my best trying to read, but it's very long. And yeah, let me know what you think of this poem in the comments below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube. I'll see you next time.